computer and it's recording, so take it away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live caucus for the regional officer candidates. We will be speaking with each and every one of our candidates and give them 3 minutes to tell us about these 4 prepared questions we have shared with them in advance. This session is being recorded, so know that we will be posting this recording later for those that cannot attend us right now. If you have any issues with having your video or audio recorded, then just know that in advance you are being recorded. And then as far as the candidate caucus goes, we will start with our Northern District candidates, then the Northeastern District candidates, followed by Central, then Southern, and then finally we will have our presidential candidates tell us about, answer those 4 questions. Now, we'll do a quick roll call to make sure that everyone is on and make sure that, so as I say your names, just go ahead and unmute yourself and, just say you're here. That'll give us a chance to make sure that your mic and all that stuff is working just fine. So, starting with the Northern Vice President candidates, we have Lauren Steigar.
Here.
And Annalise Tacola.
Here.
And then for Northeastern Vice President, we have Chirag Vyas.
Here.
All right, great. And we have Jessica Twyman. Okay, doesn't look like Jessica's with us right now. So for Southern Vice President, we have Charlotte Lewis.
I'm here. I've been here since 3 o'clock.
Yes, we know. Thanks, Charlotte. And for the Central Vice President candidate, we have Emily Gunn.
Yep, here.
Thank you, Emily. And for our presidential candidates, we have Michi Oda.
Here.
Thank you, Michi. And John Cladis.
Here.
Awesome. All right, so without much further ado, we will actually start off with our Northern District Vice President candidates. So let's start with Annalise. So Annalise, if you could unmute yourself, I will.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So Annalise, considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name 3, which would you say best reflects your style and why?
So, Enaam, I believe that the leadership style that best reflects me is democratic. As a leader, I think it is important to listen and to take into consideration all of the viewpoints that all of our respective chapter members and officers may have. I strongly believe that everyone has a voice, and that voice definitely needs to be heard and deserves to be heard in order to create a more unified and family-oriented region.
Thank you. Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer, in general, or for the specific office you're seeking.
So my time in service with the Illinois Army National Guard would assist me in performing all the duties and responsibilities assigned to me as the Vice President of the Northern District. So during my time in the Army thus far, I've honed critical time management skills, and I've learned what it takes to lead a team, to connect and to work with diverse groups of people in very high-stress situations in order to achieve short and long-term collective goals. Also, I serve as the Vice President of Fellowship in my local chapter, and working with different types of scholars and people with different backgrounds has truly helped me in that regard.
Great. What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
So my goal for the Illinois region is to establish unity among chapters. When a chapter is uplifted to a higher star status, it promotes unity within each chapter that will translate to a holistically better and more motivated region overall. So in order to accomplish this goal, I would work closely with the chapters in my district to ensure that they're achieving their fullest potential through that, and such as encouraging them to complete the 5-star competitive edge program in order to hone in on their soft skills. And also, I would encourage our chapters to unite their service efforts by targeting the same social problem in society across the region. So although each chapter may work with a different service-oriented organization, if all our chapters are united in targeting the same specific social problem, we can have more of a significant impact than if each chapter targets different causes individually.
And finally, why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region? And are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the regional officer team?
Definitely. So I want to be an officer for the Illinois region because above all else, I truly want to make an impact on those around me. Phi Theta Kappa stands for the building of great leaders and being the best individual, scholar, and leader you possibly can be. So being a regional officer would allot me that chance to serve my region and my surrounding communities on a personal level. And so ultimately, by doing this, I will make a significant impact. Our Illinois region is a family, and if we all work together, imagine the problems we can solve and the tasks we can accomplish collectively. I am eager to devote my time to be an exceptional member of the Illinois Regional Officer Team. And if you grant me this opportunity to serve and to lead, my commitment to Phi Theta Kappa's Illinois region will be unwavering.
Thank you, Annalise. You actually did really well on time as well. We are right at that 3-minute mark, so good job there.
Thank you.
Is there anything you felt like you would want to add on top of that?
I think that's about it. I mean, I was just waiting to see if you had any follow-up questions, so I'm ready to answer those if you do.
I think you did a great job. Thank you, Annalise.
Thank you.
Now, if you could please mute yourself again. Next, we will be speaking with Lauren Steiger.
Hi.
Hi, Lauren. We can hear you.
Cool.
So we'll start off. Considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name 3, which style would you say best reflects your style and why?
I would say democratic because I feel that the region and everything else with the chapters that we have should have an equal viewpoint and have ability to create creativity, new ideas, and be able to voice their opinions and say, hey, we need to do this or we don't need to do this.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or the specific office you are seeking.
My senior year, I was a star mentor, so we helped our freshmen kind of get used to the school. We worked with them doing icebreakers, kind of showing them around the school as well. Also, I've been in PTK since September. I've been in 4 different positions. So I've been a general member, a member at large, the vice president of the chapter, and now for the upcoming year, I'm the vice president of communications. Also, I take a lot of pride in my chapter and the things I do. The cool thing is I'm known as a plant person, so I actually come and I actually took care of one of my advisor's plants, and she made a real connection to it. And that also leads to, I work in the greenhouse here, and I work with the students, the early educational program. So I talk with the little kids a lot, and I kind of show them and teach them, and we do a lot of labs. And a great example I like to show is that we are the sidekicks, where the plants are the superheroes, and I would love to be the sidekick to all of you guys who are the heroes. And, with these different positions, it's taught me how to lead, to explain, and sometimes you just need to listen and not do anything. Sometimes there's different formats where people learn, and they should have that ability to show that, and sometimes you need to do it in a different form.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
I would like how I said in the Catalyst, I would really like to create as a family, somewhere where everyone can bounce their ideas off of each other. So doing more conjoined events, being able to collaborate and kind of connecting the different points. Plus to have a place where we can talk outside of the convention, where we can become more friends and have ability to talk to each other and explain what we need to explain, and maybe do an overall power versus just our individual chapters itself.
And lastly, why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region? And are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the regional officer team?
Yes, I would devote all the time and the power that I have towards this. This is something that when I first went to our informational meeting, I heard about the regional, and I really took a lot of interest in it. And I talked a lot about I talked to a lot of the chapter members and I talked to them about it. And, it's something that I want to challenge myself. I love to learn, I love to do things, and I love to learn more than just what's my chapter and what my college has to hold. This will be an opportunity where I can learn and do what I need to do. And, Illinois is such a beautiful place, and everyone's so talented and incredible, and I'd really like to have that opportunity to say, hey, I want to represent that if they allow me to.
Thank you, Lauren. I think, is there anything more and you are under your time.
Okay.
Is there anything more you want to add that is outside these questions?
I don't believe so. I think I've hit pretty much all the marks I have. I just really would be appreciative, if they allowed me to have the opportunity to help and do what I need to do for the region.
Thank you. So now we have spoken with both our Northern District Vice President candidates. Next, we'll move on to our Northeastern District Vice President candidates. Let's start with Chirag Vyas. Chirag, please unmute yourself.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Thank you. So Chirag, considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name three, which style would you say best reflects your style and why?
What I'd like to start out with is I've been involved in PTK since 2016 spring, and I've attended 2 nationals events, and the ed forums are one of my favorite parts of the catalyst, as well as the speakers, and even during the regional conventions, ed forums and speakers. And one of the main things that's always drawn me towards the events and PTK is leadership. So I've done a lot of research into different kinds of leadership, and what I'd have to say is service leadership is what really exemplifies my style, which would fall under democratic. But what I believe is when we're elected to a position, we're really there to serve and represent the people that elected us. So my style of leadership would involve just understanding what people want, what issues that are going on, and how I can best serve the community as a person in the leadership position.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or for the specific office you're seeking.
Some of my experiences throughout the past year and a half or so of PTK have involved organizing several activities, such as Feed My Starving Children, Alex's Lemonade Stand, which is a childhood cancer charity. So I've had a lot of experiences organizing events with my chapter, and there have been a lot of obstacles throughout the way. So I'd say I have a fair good amount of experience in bringing unity to the conversation, because not always people aren't always on the same page oftentimes. And one of my main goals is communication. I want to bring everybody on the same page so that there's no misunderstanding. So my experiences of organizing those activities and carrying them out, I feel would help me in this position.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
So there's been a few opportunities that I've noticed. So one of the issues that I've seen is a lack of awareness towards when people join PTK, they're not really aware of nationals or regionals or officer positions, what it's really about. So one of my goals is to bring early awareness to PTK members. My second goal is to have more interaction among chapters. As I always see that during the regional events and even throughout the rest of the year, mainly people are only interacting within their chapter. They're doing things with the chapter, but I want to bring more interconnected activities between chapters. And lastly, my third thing is as you can see, not many people are running for regional positions, and I think that that's a great opportunity to get more people involved, so that we have more people running for these positions and have people take advantage of this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Chirag. Well, we're at time there. So we thank you for that responses. I think for now, for the Northeastern, we have another candidate for Northeastern District, Jessica Twyman. Jessica is not on right now, so we will move on to our next division candidates. So the Central Division. Emily, can you please unmute yourself? And Chirag, would you please mute yourself? Thank you. Emily, considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name three, which style would you say best reflects your style and why?
I would say I'm more of a democratic leader. I say this because I like to collect and analyze everyone's ideas, and then I want to format the plan that works kind of for the majority of the people. With this leadership, when I joined it, I started getting more into honors in action and college project and kind of absorbing the ideas of others, which I feel like helped me become a better leader and kind of develop what I want to do with my leadership.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or the specific office you are seeking.
As chapter president of Parkland College and several other organizations that I work with, I've learned that transformations can occur when a individual feels supported by their organization. When I got to go to Catalyst, I met so many people of different backgrounds. And then I ended up finding out that some of them are working full-time jobs to support their kids while they still have dedication to be the president of their organization. And some are suffering with physical or learning disabilities that are not playing a part in getting them to reach their goals. And I have dyslexia, so I kind of related to them in a way that I want to be able to advocate for them more. And at Parkland, I've taken a lot of leadership courses that have helped me to learn how to advocate for my organization. So I hope to advocate for the Central region as well. So that's kind of.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
I feel like my main goal is to create more involvement within the different chapters. One way I think that can happen is making our Facebook and social media more active and a place where people can voice their ideas. One idea I had was monthly we would have each chapter submit a video or maybe a photo of what they're doing to increase student involvement. It could turn into kind of a competition, which I feel like could turn out some creative and useful ideas. And I feel like this will also help us become better as a chapter because we're motivating each other. And I think that's definitely something that's needed. More kind of motivation. Yeah.
Thank you. And then lastly, why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region? And are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the regional community?
Yes, I would love to be the officer of the Central region, of the Central Division of the Illinois region, because I feel like I have the needed leadership skills, and as I grow upon them, I feel like this is the opportunity to do so. And I feel like this will help me grow into a stronger leader and be able to collaborate ideas that I learned from multiple chapters and make sure that they're showcased.
Thank you, Emily. And so I think we're just under time for you. So is there anything more you'd like to add?
I think that covers it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And then I'll just like, I think almost everyone is on mute except for one person. I hear some typing away in the background. Can you please mute yourselves if you haven't done that already? Okay, so we will move on to our Southern District candidates? With that, Charlotte, can you please unmute yourself? Hi, Charlotte.
Hey.
Considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name three, which style would you say best reflects you and why?
I remember discussing this question with my advisor, and we came to the conclusion that I'm more democratic because I felt like autocratic is like you're being bossy and trying to put your opinions on everybody else, and that gets nowhere. And then laissez-faire is where you're trying to be like lazy and not trying to get stuff done. But I'm in the middle where I try to like delegate stuff to my team to where all of us gets each individual item that we do, and then we get the job done is basically how I lead.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or for the specific office you are seeking.
Okay, so in our chapter, we didn't have a treasurer, so they waited for me to become a full member, and then I stepped up to the role of treasurer to complete our whole officer team, as well as I'm a shift leader and a manager at Hardee's, so I know how to delegate tasks and how to manage a team under me and get the job done.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
This question excites me a lot because I was talking to Adrian about it, and I was thinking more of like a big social gang meeting where like the central and the southern district meet up, and the northeastern and the northern meet up together, and they have like a big mega fun day filled in with like service. And I was thinking, when you were sitting in the award ceremony, I was thinking about like, we only got it for scholarship. Why can't we get it for fellowship or service or leadership? Like those three areas of what we need to work on. Good for Illinois that we got a scholarship, but I want them to be an all-rounder. You know what I mean?
Yep. And why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region? And are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the Illinois regional officer team?
Yeah, I'm really devoted. I've already asked off for all the days that we are traveling for. Like I work 2 jobs, so I told them in advance that hey, I've already devoted all my time to you guys because y'all have impacted my life, and being an officer is just like one way of giving back to the community and in a bigger format.
Thank you, Charlotte. I think with that, we are under time. Is there anything more you'd like to add?
No, I think I covered all my topics, but just I would really be honored to be the 7th District Vice President. It would really give me a chance and opportunity to serve our region as a whole better.
Thank you, Charlotte. So before we move on to our presidential candidates, we do have Jessica Twyman with us right now. Jessica is running for Northeastern District Vice President position. So Jessica, would you please unmute yourself? And Charlotte, could you please mute yourself? Thank you, Charlotte. Jessica, considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name 3, which style would you say best reflects you and why?
Democratic, because I am willing to listen to everyone and get in different opinions and contribute it into what the overall decision will be. Not a dictatorship. I'm not decide something just because I want to do it. It has to be as a group, as a decision that will be best for all and not just something that I want to do.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or for the specific office you are seeking.
Well, prior to partaking in PTK and prior to going back to school, I was a manager for 2 nursing homes. And once a month, I would meet with the staff, and I would put together a format in order for them to work with me and for me to work with them to make a plan to make sure that every resident in the facility was well taken care of. And I feel that experience will be helpful to me to be a regional officer and to do the same with this position.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
I believe to be available, to be more available, to visit my region more often than previous regional officers have, so I could be more present, and if they have any questions, any concerns, I will be available to offer my services.
And lastly, why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region? And are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the regional officer team?
I would like to be a regional officer because I am also, I'm part of Lake County, and I was their recording officer, and I have recently been nominated the vice president. And I feel that if we have more of the presence of a regional officer, it would give us availability to help, how can I put it, for example, during my last semester, we had a lot of questions that we couldn't answer because we didn't know what to do or how to do it. But I feel if I were the regional officer, I can answer more questions, be more available, and I would love to be a regional officer so I could help the community and be available to the chapters in my area.
So thank you, Jessica. I think we are just under time. Is there anything you'd like to add for a few more seconds, or do you feel like you've covered everything you wanted to say?
I would just like to say that I'm really grateful to be given the opportunity to go for this position as regional officer, and whatever decision is made, I'm so grateful to be in the running.
Great, thank you very much. So now we will move on to our presidential candidates. Jessica, if you could please mute yourself, and Michi, if you could unmute yourself. Michi, okay, I see that you're unmuted. We can hear you now. All right, Michi. Considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name 3, which would you say best reflects you and why? Michi, I feel that you're still muted.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sorry, yes. My style of leadership is democratic because every member in the group has an equal opportunity to take part in decision making. I also want to hear opinions, especially from underserved populations like minorities, women, and those who have disabilities. Hearing all opinions is important and should be reflected when making an important decision. Thank you.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or for the specific office you're seeking.
Yes, I worked as a mentor at my college and organized many school events last year. In addition, I have served in 2 positions on my chapter officer team, member at large and vice president. My leadership involvement has given me the experience to lead as a regional officer for Phi Theta Kappa. Overall, I have been successful in volunteering over 200 hours of volunteer service throughout my region. Thank you.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
Yes, my idea is to do community service together with other Phi Theta Kappans in the same region or in the same district or other districts. By doing so, we can interact with each other and exchange ideas and gain knowledge. And the community service event is also a good way to increase awareness of what Phi Theta Kappa is doing. Thank you.
And finally, why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region, and are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the regional officer team?
Yes, honestly, I am indebted to Phi Theta Kappa for saving my life when I suffered from chronic disabilities. I was almost suicidal, but Phi Theta Kappa made my life. So this is my turn to give back to Phi Theta Kappa. And luckily, I have plenty of time to devote to this position because I don't have another job outside of school. Thank you.
I think we just finished under time. Is there anything more you'd like to add, Michi?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if you could please mute yourself, Michi.
Oh, sure.
And then John, if you could unmute yourself. John Gladys, are you still with us?
Yes, sorry about that. My advisor was watching with me.
Okay. So John, considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you hear me? Hello, John. You might be having some technical difficulties. Can you hear us fine?
Kind of. That's nearby, so I'm sorry. The Wi-Fi here is not the most stable.
Okay. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. There we go.
Considering the different styles of leadership, autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, to name three, which would you say best reflects your style and why?
I would like to say I like all styles of leadership. One that I do tend to side with, though, is democratic. Through my past year working with the officer team in my chapter, as well as just in previous years of doing other leadership activities, I've always found a way to make sure that everyone has their own say on what's going on, not just the leadership team. So, for example, the officer team, but also members from who are not in a leadership position. Because I tend to realize that just because there are people in the leadership position does not necessarily mean that they always have the best choice on what is going on. So I like to have everyone say their own voice in and give their own opinions to get through. So that is my leadership style, is to make sure that everyone has their own say on what's going on and give their own opinion.
Describe any experiences you have had that would assist you with performing the responsibilities of being a regional officer in general, or for the specific office you're seeking.
So for this past year, since the fall of 2017, I've worked as the executive vice president for my chapter. And I understand that executive vice president is not a position that every chapter knows. So what my position was I had to work hand in hand with the president and relay all the messages with the other vice presidents of the chapter and make sure that there was communication amongst everybody. On top of working hand in hand with everyone in my chapter, I also work in the student life department at Moraine Valley Community College. And through this, I've worked there since the fall of 2016, and through my 2 years of working there, I've learned how to be a good leader and learn how to talk to everybody on campus and make sure that everybody is going good.
What ideas do you have for the Illinois region in the upcoming year to maintain and improve its effectiveness throughout the region?
So one big thing that I do think that would go good for Illinois is improving the involvement, not just member size, but also just involvement. So even if it's getting chapters to go from 2-star to 3-star, or 3-star to 4-star, or 4-star to 5-star, trying to help every chapter with growth. Growth is my number one thing. But overall, I do think that a lot of the previous officers for the region have done a very good job. And just continuing what you guys have been doing for this past year and even years before, I think would be great. My biggest goal, though, is just to increase the growth.
And finally, why do you want to be an officer for the Illinois region, and are you willing to devote the time needed to be an effective member of the Illinois regional officer team?
One of the main reasons that I want to be an officer for the Illinois region is because I have interacted with a lot of the other members from different chapters throughout this past year, and I've gotten to know them really well. And just with interacting with them, I realized that Phi Theta Kappa and getting involved with all the different members have really helped me grow as a person and learn the differences between each individual chapter. So if one of my goals as well is to help all of the different chapters highlight their most successful parts and help the other chapters figure out what works with each other. So that's one of the big reasons that I want to be an officer, is to help with the different communication amongst the chapters.
Thank you, John. So with that, I think we are at time, and I feel this went quite well. I think all of you were given your 3 minutes time, and I feel we gave all of you, the choice to add more. So thank you, guys. I want to say, first of all, this is not easy coming on and talking with big groups of people. So big kudos to you to come on to this virtual live caucus and speaking with all of us about your, the reasoning behind why you're running for office and what you want to do if you do get elected. So I commend all of you for doing this. I know in some positions you're running uncontested, so but we will still go through the election process, and just a little bit more on that in a second. But to those that you are competing with somebody else for this position, remember that if you do not win, it's not a reflection on you. It is that the region as a whole is choosing someone else to represent them. They're not making a decision on who they think of you. But I will encourage you that even if you do not seek the position, win the position you're seeking, please do not feel that you cannot continue to contribute, in the region. I'm sure you will all contribute towards the chapters, but there is ways that you can continue to help us in the region. And we are looking forward to seeing what each and every one of you do for the next year. So as far as the election part of the voting part of this goes, we will be sending out a SurveyMonkey survey. And Susan, you can come on to share more if I do not cover everything. This survey will go out to all chapter advisors. You are heavily encouraged to work with your advisors to send in the votes that you want, the people that you want to represent all of Illinois for the upcoming year. So we are keeping this to chapter advisors only so that every chapter has one vote, similar to what headquarters does for international officer elections.
I would just let them know where they'll be able to view the recording.
We have been recording this session, and we will be posting this on to YouTube, and then we will also post the link to YouTube on our Illinois regional page on Facebook. So, and after that, we will be in touch with all of your chapters presidents to, again, inform them that the link is up and that they should start working with their officers and the chapter as a whole if they can pull them together and turn in their vote through their advisors. And the balloting, all of this information, the YouTube link should be up along with the actual ballots should be sent out to your advisors by tomorrow. So we will have from tomorrow until the end of day on May 9th,
Wednesday.
Susan?
Yes, midnight, Wednesday, May 9th.
So really about from when it goes out, about 48 hours or so. So yeah, by May 9th, we need your votes in. I really highly recommend that all of you take the time to cast your vote. We would love to have over 50% participation. So please, please work with your advisors to send them in. Susan, do you have anything more to add?
I do not. I think I will stop recording at this point. Thank you, everyone, very much. I'm glad you could all be here.